Acts, Paul was once Saul. Saul was a devout, zealous Jew, a young Jewish man, who was so zealous for the Lord that when Christianity began to really take root in and around Jerusalem, he rose up and became a spearhead against the church. And as we see later in the story, God came after Saul, knocked him down and actually blinded him, spoke to him, told him what he must do for him, and Saul became Paul. Paul became one of the greatest spearheads for Christianity inside the whole world. And he has written most of what we read in the New Testament. But the message which Paul taught was not inspired by any man. It wasn't something that anyone taught him. In fact, he had no opportunity to be taught by anyone because everyone was deathly afraid of him. He had converted to Christianity, and everywhere he went, people said, "Oh no, here comes that Saul guy. He's going to kill us," so they hid. So he didn't even have an opportunity to speak to Christians for a very long time. So the message which Paul taught was not inspired by any man, nor was it taught to him by any of the other apostles or disciples, but it came to him through the revelation of Jesus Christ. The revelation of Jesus Christ. What's a revelation? What is it? What is it to have a revelation? I'm sure that many of you have had revelations, whether they were spiritual revelations or just a revelation as a human being. The word revelation means something revealed. It's a dramatic disclosure of something not previously known or realized. It is a disclosure of truth, a disclosure of instruction concerning things that were before unknown. I think all of us have experienced this type of revelation. In fact, it's like when that light bulb comes on in your mind and you realize something you didn't realize before. It clicks. Something that you never understood before, you couldn't understand before, and all of a sudden you get it, and you get excited because it fit together and you know what the picture is. On a spiritual level, there are times when you may have read a certain passage of Scripture many times. One day while you're going over that very same verse, wham, it hits you, and you go, "Oh, I totally get this. Totally understand this." It hits you, you receive a revelation concerning even that one verse. Something that has never occurred to you at all has jumped out at you, and you now understand this is revelation. And the reason why I think it's so miraculous is because it's not something that you can make happen. It's not something you do to yourself. It's when God pulls back the curtain on your heart or your mind and reveals something to you that you never could have known before. And you could never have come to that conclusion or that clarity without His showing it to you. So in Paul's case, the truth of the gospel was made known to him directly through Jesus Christ, and it was a greater miracle than anyone would ever suspect that Paul could ever receive anything from the Lord, for he was once that great enemy of the church of Jesus Christ. So in verse 13, Paul begins to expound on his past. Is it wrong to expound on your past? Not at all, if it's something that draws people to Christ. I think sometimes we get carried away. I know I do.